South Africa, the land of gangs and guns, and we all know gangsters run the streets of the South acting like they are untouchable.
Is this the gun that you use to kill people?
Yes, this is the gun we use to kill people in this million more others.
And how often would you kill people?
Like every day we kill people.
For money?
Yes, for money.
And how much do you normally get paid?
Like
and for the most part they are. They don't just rule the roads, they have their grip on the police stations too. But when the right ones jump in, no room is left for the big bad guys to hide. This is the story of Anthony Gouden, a gang leader in Verulam who allegedly tried to murder an off-duty police officer, hoping there would be no consequences, but what happened next might restore your faith in the justice system. On March 9th, Desion de Giochi 99, a 61-year-old Metro police officer was returning home from his place of worship when he noticed a car blocking traffic. He approached the vehicle and told the owner to move it. However, his polite plea was answered with a harsh blow to the jaw. When he was talking to Anthony, two bodyguards appeared from another vehicle and started attacking the poor officer. Eyewitnesses reported that Anthony himself later joined the two men and beat the officer brutally. This left the 61-year-old man lying on the floor unconscious. Before leaving, Anthony wanted to assert his dominance and let the people know who he was, so he picked the officer from the ground and said, "Remember me, I am Tattoo, I don't care, you are a policeman." In the South, Anthony goes by the name of Tattoo, and most people know him by that name. After his little power show, he fled the scene as if it were a normal event of the night for him. The bystanders called the victim's family. On their arrival, they found him unconscious and badly injured, so they immediately took him to get medical assistance. It was also reported that the officer was not armed at the time of the attack. Now, in normal circumstances, the police would want to investigate the merciless assault of one of their own officers, but not in this case. Shockingly, the police officers of Verulam were reluctant to take up this case. The reason for that was the payrolls from Anthony keeping their pockets warm and mouths shut. Most of the officers in Verulam were reported to be on a monthly payroll by Anthony Gouden. He ruled the police stations, and hence the people there wanted to bury the case.
There have been historical concerns that SAPS members, including senior officials, are colluding with gang members and causing further harm to the communities in which they operate. Adam Windy is the Western Cape Premier and joins me.
However, the Hawks were not ready to let this one go. The Hawks is a special unit of the South African Police Service that investigates organized crimes, economic crimes, or any other serious crimes. It was established by President Jacob Zuma in 2008, and since then it has been working in South Africa to deal with unhinged criminals.
It was a crime-fighting unit born from the ashes of the disbanded Scorpions. In 2008, a fractured ANC government established the Hawks as the country's new elite crime-fighting unit, tasked with investigating organized and financial crime.
When the local police refused to take up the case, the Hawks appeared in the picture and happily offered their services to deal with the gang boss, Tattoo. After knowing that the Hawks had taken up his case, Andrew obviously disappeared. The officers went to his sister, wife, mom, and even his attorney to find any clues. After a few days, realizing the relentless search for him wasn't letting up, Andrew surrendered to the police on March 13th. His case was led by Detective Warrant Officer Savan Naidu. On April 11, Andrew appeared in court. In addition to the alleged murder attempt of a police officer, he was also met with charges of fraud, obstruction of justice, and unlawful possession of firearms. The Hawks officer was not ready to let this one get off the hook that easily, and he had successfully gathered all evidence against him. Naidu told the court that the victim had endured critical injuries and was still in the hospital. He also reassured the court that there were witnesses who had seen Andrew beating the officer, and if need be, they could be presented in court. And apart from the attempted murder case, he also highlighted how the suspect had been a part of drug dealing and also had the local police station under control. It was stated in court that a few months before this incident, a police officer had been caught trafficking drugs and playing the role of a bodyguard for the suspect. Naidu also unveiled a horrific stunt of the drug dealers. He stated in court that the drug mafia registered security companies with the help of the police and transported drugs, and this also allowed them to possess firearms in the name of their safety. The Verulam police officers and many local men were thoroughly involved in this scheme, but nobody said a word, because the fear of the gang lords was enough to silence them. However, this time things were different. Anthony had messed up at the wrong moment, and the Hawks proved true to their name. Upon further investigation, it was revealed that the man who threatened the people on his streets was himself afraid of other gangs. A rival gang wanted to kill him, and that led to him going into hiding and moving around with guards. His son and his father were killed by his rivals, his friend was murdered, and even Anthony himself had been shot, but he survived. With so many threats to his life, there was only one place he could stay safe: the prison. Gouden denied all charges against him and said that he was a respectable businessman. He had 3 businesses running, and when the police were looking for him, he was dealing with some of his work stuff. Countering the charge of an alleged murder attempt, he said his guards were the ones who beat up the officer, and he was not involved in it. To back up his words, he also shared that even if he wanted to take part in the one-sided fight, he would have been unable to do it physically due to the gunshot wounds on his right hand and leg. Then he resorted to the sob story by telling about how his wife's poor health and the recent murder of his son have taken a toll on his mental health. The infamous Tattoo of the South also denied being linked to the tattoo gang. He said, "The police are alleging that I belong to the tattoo gang, which is absolutely nonsensical. There is no such gang that exists." After this statement, we can only imagine how it must have felt to disown your hard-earned name just because a police officer is hell-bound on putting you behind bars. And he also tried turning the tables in court by vocalizing his concerns about the potential destruction of his property by the police during his search. He even accused them of breaking his cameras and stealing 40,000 rand and a video recorder. In the end, he told the court he could pay 10,000 rand for his bail. But after all this drama, his bail was still denied, and the matter was adjourned to a further hearing. The man who was known to rule the police was put behind bars by the same police. His arrest also led to several other matters of collusion between gangs and police members. Moreover, it led the Hawks to a house in Quaracuza where they arrested 2 suspects for unlawful possession of 5 firearms. When the public heard about Anthony controlling the police department, they were disappointed but not surprised. That is because even the kids of the South know how strong the gangs are. But the arrest of Anthony proved to be a little ray of hope, that at least there are people in the Justice Department who are doing their job right. This case also served as a reminder to the rest of the members of the dark world to not mess with the rightful cops again. That was all about Anthony, who made a wrong move at the wrong moment, which caused his entire empire to crumble. South Africa has been ruled by gangsters and mobs for many years, and that is not because the gang bosses are invincible, it is because they are given the satisfaction of entitlement. The collusion of police and criminals is the main reason why even 14-year-olds are being recruited into criminal organizations. It has become a norm there, and there's a serious need to address these matters critically. For this, associations like Hawks have been established, but there's only so much they can do when the entire system is infiltrated by these offenders. Anthony's case might be the unusual case where the wrongdoer is actually met with the consequences of his actions, but what about the rest of them? Do you have any insights on this matter? Don't forget to share in the comments below. That was it for today's video. Don't forget to like and share. For more such content, subscribe to our channel, and we will catch you in the next one.